Well, you're not able to Carol. Unless you want to.
No, no. Think of Carol. Hi, man. Yes, ma'am.
It's humid.
Profanity on public signs. Yes, absolutely.
My neighbor has put a sign up.
What's that?
Oh,
Oh, no way. What's the address?
You can stay as long as
Ish.
one that put the picture block of
Not-
South
oh,
the same woman who put the sign about the crap.
Okay. We'll go take a look. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a.
I'm 318.
Nice. That's nice.
I don't, it's the one right next to the
I
alley.
know which one you're talking about now. When you said they had the crack house thing. I don't recall. Yeah,
I swear I
sorry.
submitted the name.
I don't.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I was like, maybe I did it.
Oh, okay. Let me go take a look.
It was, I mean, hopefully it'll be down,
Yes, ma'am.
but there is an ordinance against profanity.
Yeah, it's
sure?
yes. Spoken or on sign.
Pardon?
Spoken or on sign.
Oh, so if you're like shouting on the street,
It's just something that. Yeah.
like a sign.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We'll talk. We'll chat with them.
It's a long time.
Thanks.
It's a long time to talk about budget.
I was like, oh, I didn't think mine was divisive, but yeah, that's fine. I would have suggested something else.
Mr. Cassidy. Did you hear the dialogue about the
Yeah. That's embarrassing.
I came in. Where's the calendar?
Do you know who the name of the person was?
Tomorrow we're gonna post the clean version online.
Yes, I know. I have a little placeholder that says proposed budget.
Yeah.
And there's nothing.
And it'll be approved on December 3rd.
Yes.
Or not.
Congratulations. I'm gonna get a chance to play that in person since the event.
Yeah. I missed you at the Missouri Park.
Yeah, it's all pictures.
Maybe we'll do
Lots
it
of
during the
pictures.
business. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty short.
So thank you.
Found this tribute. That's all.
And you're gonna.
Well, we ought to get together for lunch.
We'll get there. Time marches on.
What's my social?
Yes, it does.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Need a agenda.
I'll tell her I have that list. I feel like it's small.
Basically, what we're gonna need to do is put together an agreement.
I
between
think
us and
that was going to flame up.
the Texas liability for their paid drivers before they go on the bike.
Okay. You have a reverse agreement that spells it out.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, yeah, good was good.
You're.
But I did a
Hey, Greg.
correction.
Welcome to the
We should have
party.
gotten there earlier to get
Um,
it.
Oh.
Did you see my comments back to Matt today? All right.
That was what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
To accept that table.
Okay. Good.
Definitely glad you get home, shouldn't I?
Perfect. And that's cool. Yeah. And really, I don't want to make too many. I don't want to look at it too much more because I do want to give the council some softballs. Okay.
Yes.
But I like what he's done, putting it all on the first floor. I think it's gonna save us
No, but
Then
there's
we're
a lot of
getting paying
suspicious
that money.
vehicles there.
in Strawberry. I don't know if you talked to CH, but we walked through the building after closing with the seller guy. And he's like, let me show you all the places that you have to come and plug in the heat tape. Or else the pipes will explode.
I was gonna say.
I was like, oh, okay. So CH is like pictures, map. He's like, okay, do this one, do that one first before you do that one, or else the circuit will pop. What the hell, dude? Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. So you got that going for us.
Have you been down in North Carolina area? get contact for that?
I have my own though. One floor of the
I'm good. Ain't no mine. You don't put this, I'm gonna need it back.
I mean, you've done a lot of emergency disaster response work. How did that field of view is that one years back. He was the president, I would expect to be able to know. You know, right.
Do we get it?
I imagine which is very different than the other ones you've done in terms like because of the valleys and dealings with valleys washed out, bridges washed out. This.
Oh, so that's totally. Yep.
I know. They're in shape.
So you were doing that? Oh yeah.
Normally. Last thing.
Wow.
You know, there's 20 everyone's responsible for that. Right. Accounted for.
Right, yeah.
Not accounted for.
Yeah, see, it's just that,
You're scared of everything.
yeah. Aww. Well, he's here.
Yeah.
You have the A right.
From your perspective as a female.
I know, we're on.
JCP, what's up?
Good.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Football team still winning?
Oh, they haven't played since. Wow, set up high, and then they'll play this fall.
Mm.
Am I entitled to a copy, whatever that is?
Oh, you came back. Yes. Figured you were. I'm gonna need it back. So at the end, we're gonna have a little short executive session. I'm gonna take them back.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It has salary.
How you doing? I'm well. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, I did lose weight. Thank you for noticing. That's fantastic.
Don't feed the beast.
I didn't before. You look marvelous. You look fantastic. But now you look marvelous. Yeah.
Doing well. We'll hear about the baby. Time being 7:21. Sorry we're late. I'll call the regular session of Borough Council to order. And we will start with an announcement that the meetings of the Mechanicsburg Borough Council are being recorded and live streamed for the purposes of transparency and increased public access. The live stream, along with the recordings of previously held meetings, can be accessed on the borough's YouTube channel. Now, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Present.
Here.
Chief Myers. Here. Chief Knapp.
Here.
CEC Bear. Here. EPC Arnold. Here. Manager Thompson.
Here, ma'am.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Do we have items to add or remove from the consent agenda or regular agenda? believe we have one that we need to remove, and that is under Property Parks and Recreation, discussion and possible action on the lease agreement, which we're still under review. Any other changes? Hearing none. Moving on to amendments or changes to the proposed minutes. Are there any changes to the proposed minutes? Hearing none. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda? Vice President Anthony moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Burek seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The agenda is approved. Citizen comment. Anyone here for citizens comment this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Councilman Burek moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman O'Neill seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Consent agenda items are approved. Moving on to the regular agenda. Nothing for Finance Administration and Ordinance. Do you have anything to add, Vice President Anthony, Chair?
Only to say we had a meeting prior to this, budget review, and we're gonna have another meeting on 19th of November.
Municipal and community outreach, nothing on the agenda. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Cooper? No. Community and economic development. Councilwoman Agerton is not here, so we'll move on to Public Works and Safety.
Thank you.
No, looking at the.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next item is approval of the contract for Evercore for street sweeping in 2025.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Vice President Anthony moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Burek seconds. I would like to have some discussion on this item and give EPC Arnold the opportunity to review a breakdown of the costs and then detail on the schedule, the route schedule.
Sure. So to start on costs, the rate for next year is $184 an hour. That includes the annual increase that is part of the contract. Looking at overall costs of street sweeping in the state of Borough, last year, $18,000 of the total cost was for dumpster rentals and waste. That is for the delivery, 3 weekly dumps of that dumpster, and the removal of that at the end of the week. Typically we do 3, sometimes there's 4 in the emergency pickups, based on the level of sediment being removed. But increased dumpster costs is always a good thing, because we're moving more things off the street. The other part of that is $39,000. That was for Evercore labor last year, and that's totaling at $57,000 for last year's street sweeping program.
So 57,000 is dumpster rental and Evercore labor hours
Yes,
together.
correct.
So how many sweeps do we do per year?
We do 4 sweeps a year and Jubilee Day after all of those.
So then for 4 sweeps, that's roughly about $9,000 per sweep in labor hours. Sounds correct. And that includes the transportation cost to and from Mechanicsburg.
Correct.
So that's great. Is there any questions on cost for EPC Arnold?
Yes, EPC Arnold, thank you again for all your hard work. The hourly rate, you quoted that again as you did at a previous meeting. Would you please detail what that hourly rate includes?
Yeah, that is the labor costs. So that is the driving, all of the work that they do here in the borough. That also includes all of the maintenance done to the vehicle. So after each sweep, each day that they're sweeping, once they drive it back, they're doing maintenance on the entire vehicle every day of that week. So that's all encompassed in what we need for.
It includes the vehicle usage, correct?
Correct.
It includes the fuel, correct?
Yes.
It includes the oil, correct?
Yes.
It includes any other liquids, plastics, or replaceable items of the vehicle, is that correct? Okay. It includes the insurance on the vehicle, is that correct? It is correct. It includes the operation of the vehicle, is that correct? It includes the tires, we don't have to buy tires for the vehicle, is that correct? Okay. There's been some confusion by constituents that they don't seem to understand why the number is what the number is. I appreciate so much your confirming what it includes, and would just ask you for your indulgence in the future that you include a detailed breakdown of everything that that number includes. Because the average person doesn't understand. What's the number?
184.
So most people don't understand $184 an hour, right? But they do understand the cost of a vehicle, and they do understand the cost of maintenance, and they do understand the cost of fuel and repairs and insurance, et cetera, and labor. So your help in this would be so much appreciated.
We appreciate you putting the information together for us tonight. And moving on to route schedule, can you detail what that would look like?
Yes. So the signs that currently are in the borough are being removed. So that allows a lot more flexibility in routes. Previously, the street sweepers were doing the main street corridors first thing in the morning, and then doing various neighborhoods based on signs that existed in those areas. With those being removed, we are able to create new route schedules. So the proposed schedules for next year will align with a resident's trash day. So the area that are collected for trash would receive street sweeping the following day. So for example, if you have a Monday trash day, you have a Tuesday street sweeping day, and then you have street sweeping. And that would go through the whole week, Friday being Monday. And that's allowed because of the signs being removed. This will also help create more consistent routes. The residents will know better when their routes are. Typically, it's been a little ambiguous between streets and blocks. So for next year, it'll be trash days delayed by a day during the week of Friday.
So in the past, it was a 5-day process to do the entire borough.
Correct.
So we're not adding any, we're subtracting any time because you're tying it to the trash delivery.
No, we're just adding more consistency
More
in
consistency.
where it's at.
People will know. It'll be easy to see. On,
Any other questions or?
so there's a spot on the page 3 where it's yellowed in holiday. We built separately at something per day, but it's highlighted, it's like.
Yes. So we don't typically schedule holidays. Once we set the schedules at the beginning of the year, we're able to see weeks, so there's no holidays in those weeks that we're selecting.
Do we have any other questions? This particular item? Thank you, EPC Arnold, for your explanation and detail.
Yeah, good job.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Any opposed?
Oh, well, yeah.
Motion passes. Moving on.
Next item is approval of compost pass price increase to $30 for renewal and $20 for replacement card effective December 1st, 2024.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Vice President Anthony moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Burek seconds. Any discussion?
What do we have?
I think we, let's start with Manager Thompson with an explanation on the increase.
Right. So this is really a result of the county terminating the compost facility equipment program. So Silver Spring and the Borough partners in our joint compost facility, and the computed rate required, which is what the numbers are that you see here, is for us to hire contractors to come in and do the grinding that we would be doing with the county equipment for 2025. And we still don't know the permanent plan for what's going to happen with the county equipment or whether there's going to be a new program reestablished. We continue to work with multiple municipalities on different options moving forward. But as for 2025, this is what it's going to cost to operate the yard next year.
What was it last year?
What is it, 15, Sarah, 15? So it's going from 15 to 30.
Does Silver Spring have to up their rate?
They went to the same.
So they've already done that?
Yes.
Sounds very reasonable to me.
I'm just glad we can still provide the service to the residents through the contractors at the plant.
And this is a one-time, basically annual payment.
Right.
So it's very reasonable.
Right. And again, we really don't know what the long-term answer is as far as what's going to happen with shared equipment. So it might be able to reduce it again. We might need to increase it in 26 once we get better fidelity on equipment and what's happening with that.
But we feel like we're not gonna operate at a loss at this price.
That's right. That's right.
Is there a communication effort to tell those subscribers that this is why it went up, why we're still maintaining the service?
Yeah. So what we've been doing is ever since the county stopped the program, since there was a fire with one of the machines and the county stopped the program because of insurance reasons, we immediately were beginning to inform folks. I don't know if you remember, but we shut down the yard for a couple of weeks. And we immediately were informing folks, hey, we can't take renewals yet until December. We think that, the amount is going to change, but we're still working on it. As of tomorrow, if you approve tonight, we'll begin with the actual dollar amount to explain what the new dollar amounts are. I don't know that it's necessary to say that the root cause of it is the county's termination of their equipment, because we could have made different choices to change that amount. We could have said, we're going to rent the equipment and do the work ourselves. That would have been slightly higher amount. But Silver Spring and the borough decided to contract for it to keep our liability in one place, push the risk to a vendor for next year, and do it through a contractor.
I just think generally,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone needs all the detail, but we made a change.
Right.
This is why there's an increase.
Okay.
It's just good to know why, because someone's like, oh, I didn't pay that much last year.
Yeah, I kind of thought because there's an increase in operating costs is a little too vague. But it is due to the fact that we're no longer able to share equipment in the county. So we can easily incorporate
So,
that
yeah, something.
into the messaging.
Yeah.
Well, and making sure it's clear that it's the county that terminated that.
Yes,
Because that saying we can't, it sounds like it was us.
correct.
And this is the alternative that, in order to keep maintaining this service, I think that's yeah, you know.
I got it.
Yeah.
How many pass holders are there?
Do we have that number?
I think it's about 2,100 between both municipalities.
Is that right? 2,100. And EPC Arnold, does the existence of this service give us access to free dollars anywhere, to grant monies? I mean, does this help you do your job?
I would say, yeah. Composting it's a big environmental benefit. There is a requirement to break up the woody waste, but the product we get from that is really sustainable. So I'm sure any grants out there for compost-related facilities, we could go after the facility.
Is that something we've looked into yet?
Not yet.
Thank you, sir.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next item is discussion and action to approve the borough portion of the purchase of SCBA's for the Mechanicsburg Volunteer Fire Department not to exceed $129,326.65.
I so move.
Thank you. Councilman Burek moves. Is there a second? Vice President Anthony seconds. Any discussion? I believe this is a correction.
It is. It's a slight increase from what you had previously approved, and the updated invoice, along with the explanation from the fire department treasurer, are in your packets. It basically has to do with, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, with the model chosen and the number that was purchased, changed the amount of the grant, and so it increased the amount of the borough portion.
The reduction, the original grant was 204,000 odd cents. So now the other adjustment check was $176,000. That was the difference. Even though the fire department did their due diligence and were tested and got a better price for a particular model than originally planned that we submitted for at the time, they still got, the feds still thought that you didn't need as many air packs supported through the system, and also that was the cost. So they got a better price, but they took it away just as quickly, the feds.
Because they felt that we were essentially over ordering on air packs?
No, it's just, they only, each year they do a little bit of revision with air, specifically air packs. How many are considered allowable purchases for riding positions on apparatus. So they reduced a couple of our positions, so they said that we don't need that many. That's all. It's a frequent occurrence, even though we have that many in the system.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to property, parks, and recreation.
Next item on the agenda is approval for the RFP for Center Square West.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Vice President Anthony moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman O'Neill seconds. Any discussion?
For the RFP, I would defer to Greg on timeline, but the design was worked through the DMP and the Renaissance Mechanicsburg group. Greg kind of led the way along with the design vendor to get us to this RFP state. And then, Greg, if you want to chat about what happens after this.
So essentially, we have our pre-bid meeting scheduled for Friday, and we anticipate bids back on the 18th of November, so prior to Thanksgiving, we'll have a price. It's being bid in a format with a base bid and some alternates, which means we have some options in terms of ensuring we can meet the budget if it does come in over, and we'll be able to evaluate all that essentially, probably the first meeting in December. So pretty quick.
I'm just curious for clarification. Is it a borough project or is it a DMP Renaissance project?
I
Though,
think there's a good explanation. For
yeah, so if you recall, probably about 18 months ago, we needed to do an agreement between the borough and the downtown partnership because the grants that were pursued were in the name of the borough, and the borough needed to manage all of the money. And so one of the items that we put on there was that the borough would assist in the RFP process to ensure that the money was spent in accordance with the grant requirements for a borough. And our engineer and our staff are familiar with and experts in how to do that. The DMP wouldn't have been able to do that themselves, so we did that for them. The second part is to ensure that the delivery of that park and the construction is something that we understand how to take possession of after it's completed, because that memo has the date of, completion of construction plus 1 day that the property becomes borough property. And so part of Greg's responsibility is to ensure that we understand what's going to be built and that we can maintain it once it's built. So I would say it's a partnership to deliver the project.
So we're not committing borough funds.
Oh, no, it's all grant money.
And just a clarification question again for the record, so to speak, is the soft costs that are involved in the RFP, are they being reimbursed to the borough?
Yeah, we bill Greg's costs to the grant. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And just for purposes of clarity, we're using the term RFP, request for proposal, but this is actually a bid. So the council is actually approving the issuance of what we call an invitation to bidders for the project itself. So it's a competitive bidding process to award the contract for the construction of these improvements that eventually will become assets of the borough. So the competitive bidding process is a requirement under the grant conditions itself. So just want to make clear that this is an authorization to publish an invitation to bidders for the construction of the project.
Is the borough making the selection of the vendor?
So the pursuant to borough code and the grant application, the project is to be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder. So
I understand.
yes, is the short answer to your question.
Yeah, I know. And,
What we choose.
and this is just for the distribution of the grant funds, not for the private funds?
Correct.
Meaning,
Correct. Yeah.
right,
Correct.
we're
Now-
just responsible for the grant fund distribution.
That is correct. Now, as a practical matter, there needs to be a coordinated effort with other funding sources for the project.
Of course. Okay. Thank you for your clarification.
Any other questions regarding the invitation to bid / RFP? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next item is discussion on the naming of parks and names for the bird sanctuary and arboretum at the corner of Railroad Avenue and Long Alley.
Thank you. We had advertised a opportunity to and asked questions. We put out a survey for names for the Railroad Avenue and Long Alley Park right behind the senior center, and there was a list of names provided. We need to make sure that all council members see that list. Some of them were not initially included, so we will make sure that circulates to everybody for the discussion. And in terms of the naming, is there any, does council have any preference on the process going forward? Would you like to narrow the list at the next meeting and then vote on it? Or would you like to put the list out there to the public and have public narrow the list down?
You didn't think Miller's Arboretum was?
Or Luke's Corner?
I think, and this is more of what I think the name should be, I guess, in a sense. But I think it should have some sort of a historical tie to our town. Like, I feel like having a name that's very, like, generic, I don't think does justice to the work that was done. So that's my 2 cents.
Council could narrow it down to 3 and then put it out to the populace. That would too.
I like that idea.
Yeah, so that's, I think that's where we'll go. The next meeting, council will take the opportunity to discuss and narrow it down to a list, and then we'll turn that back around and put it out. Sounds good.
So table.
Yes, is there a motion to table? Well, actually, there's no action. It's just discussion. That takes care of that. Move on to Personnel Committee.
Next item is discussion and action to approve performance pay in the amount of $14,146.
So I'm going to request that council move into executive session before taking action on this item.
Is this separate from the other executive session?
Well, we will have to come out of this executive session, take action on this item, and then go back into executive session to talk about another item.
Gotcha.
Which we could take care of at the end of the meeting after citizens comment, I believe. Because there's no action after that. So this will be an executive session on a matter of personnel with potential action. So that's what we're going to recess into right now.
Back here.
Did you want to bring it back?
Yeah. Do you want to come back? Come back?
Oh. Oh, I'm just adamantly against it. I think it's stupid. Big money
We communicated via email.
Yeah.
Well, I need to see them over there, and they were
Just wanted to say thank you.
Wow.
Just on behalf of Elizabeth and I, we want to say thank you too.
The movies and
So much fun. What a great event. It's great.
Halloween,
What's the matter? Yeah, oh yeah. I told you, that's where they filmed the Boroughs. Me and that little skit. They're the ones that produced it. Yeah.
I got a phone call.
He is. Maybe she's even more. I don't know.
I do, but. How do I get it?
Yeah.
You always have. I do,
He was talking about all sorts of funny stuff.
I wanted to tell him, but I didn't know how to.
New ones. Oh, they're not? Okay. Well, I thought they were. I want to double check.
We probably have a tech.
Okay. Okay. So does the
How to do company capability. Put you to work.
Anyway, yeah, what a jolly group.
It's pretty easy, wasn't it?
It was.
I enjoyed dancing with your wife. Wasn't she up there dancing?
She was. Yeah.
She was active.
She likes to enjoy herself. She works hard a lot. Too much, really.
Oh.
It was all good.
Yeah. I'll get a hold of you sometime.
When I was talking to you at the beginning, when I first got there, I knew how I said it. It was just. There's another opportunity, really. They already reapplied, so just
I like to work here on tap.
make it happen. The thing about it is, make it happen.
Winning is for rookies.
It's kind of like this thing, we're finding the last leg of this 8-year plan since I've been around to try to get this, all the services where they should be. Because we're like 10 years.
Yeah, but there was 4 or 5 townships, I think.
If we can, with the fire station and apparatus replacement, already, the other big hits for the SCBA's, they just took care of that. Radios are already paid for now, so all those big hits are, it's happening. Yeah,
Because up around uses outdoor fuel for it. They're not of
From will be holiday.
Oh,
That day, that's right there, across the street from
he does.
the house. On Lisbon.
Okay.
Now, if you ever go out that way, that's the leaves.
Interesting.
Why? Oh, tell me.
Because the internal was that he wasn't gonna do that.
Shot a deer.
Oh, we're friends, I mean, we're friends.
It wasn't hard.
Well, the fire company had a request.
It was only 20 feet.
Fire company had to take it long because it kind of backfired a little bit.
Yeah, use it for something. There's water there. They might have piped water in.
I'm not envious. That's all.
It might-
I did see it on the committee.
It might be, I never been in it.
That's
I don't
all.
know,
Sounds like there's.
but it's dry.
There's a little bit of, yeah, about a year.
But I think they go through the system and then we have,
They're in the process of
yeah,
cleaning.
basically lease and all that.
It's not John's issue.
But I think they're getting that, I think they're calling that from the applications. They came in online.
Anyways, what else do we have to talk about?
Okay. Wonderful.
No, like I said, I thought it creek went through there. It might be, maybe the creek might be where they're pumping the water from. I don't know. I haven't been in with.
By the way, did you see the agenda items?
50 years since I was back there.
That's pretty amazing.
I know that's what we had spoken out to Ethan one time out there about something, and they said, me, it's down at the quarry. Quarry, yeah, so they said, oh,
Yeah.
they go that side, but the guy on the other part of the quarry, or it's not across the street, off the top. Or the quarry's in there, so
He comes back and
so he has a little bit of the quarry in him too.
so,
Yeah, the front line, that's the little.
yeah, he didn't float away the last hurricane. He weathered it out. But anyway, we're gonna meet with him and then we're gonna do down the demo. Hopefully, we'll be able to take care of a lot of that.
Alright.
Similar to how Henry took care of the demo. Did Henry try to take care of the demo one last?
John asked me to get back to Henry, because apparently Henry expressed the committee project, but I don't know. I just talked to Henry.
She might be in there.
Yeah, so he's not making any.
Yeah, I think she's in there.
But yes,
She got a couple
I
for that project. Yours is fully
disagree with
funded
this
now, right?
one call when they're down in Beaumont. He had 3 times in the middle.
You know what I said? You know what I said? That document was amazing. You know what I said? You know what? Let's change the Joe Brown.
Planning about.
Yep.
for
Exactly.
You know, first, you know, they want you to first off.
I'll tell you something, you know, because competition for both in it, right?
And they were hard enough.
I support 100%.
On defense, and hell,
So, yeah, so back a couple of years ago, it was Barclays. Come back and
second play, you
talk to him. It was good.
third play, what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Sure.
And.
I know what that is.
Fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
So, good call.
You
Carter,
told
look, this line was so much.
Guys
My
like,
opinion is,
well, even, well, that's.
But you gotta, you gotta.
Yeah, New Cumberland. Yeah, but anyway, there's another one, so he doesn't retain ownership. He has vested in BBC. He's one of those wow projects. Yeah, and he has the, yeah,
Yeah, so they get the players.
But don't get confused with his brother.
Oh,
His
I
brother
one of
was,
his,
well, he's deceased.
no, he had to up into the lineman.
Different character.
The running backs. And the side.
I just saw,
So, yeah, there's two. Probably more than that, just proactive, right about. So, anything to get the go. That's what this place is.
I get an hour with a brand up.
Is that what you wanted to say?
Because it's happening at college, it happens in pro.
Yeah.
coming in, and.
He's a character. He's got all the voice and everything else. So,
Penn State lost that game because defensive.
yeah, I mean, we kind of. A lot of times just to network and figure it out. Nobody was with them. Yeah, he was giving us, I was talking to him, he was giving us 600. How long it takes to just get work going. I was up to 2 months, so really. Well, have you been inside?
We don't play.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. All I know is that only getting it done.
Yes.
Minnesota was looking good.
Sometimes we could like proposal where we could.
You guys want? You guys don't have to pay to get in Friday night, do you?
No.
I was gonna go, that's all you can buy tickets online, I said. You gotta go wait till all that.
I heard that.
Oh, you gotta be on there like 8 o'clock Saturday morning to get. I think I'll stay there, I'll watch it on YouTube.
Hey, Dick. Did you, what, you gotta tell me,
Yeah, this Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, I can come to the meeting.
Yes.
come to the meeting? Just show up.
Unless I'll bet.
See that?
But they have to answer the minutes too.
You guys. Yeah.
You have anybody else?
Yeah, they'll get. Oh, there's only $500. I'll be watching on TV. And I watched that game. I watched the game. And then I watched the Big Ten repeats of them. 2 times. And they were part of the effort.
I had a dragonfly that out of the building yesterday. It was incredibly big. I couldn't believe it. No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid of that. It wasn't afraid of that.
You can't tell me that's not holy.
Is that what
You
you?
know what? When you think that.
Maybe.
to? Now, why didn't they fuck those 5 years? And everybody calls it color. But you know when you're about,
These flowers and then.
yeah, but you know what? Almost everybody else in the Big Ten didn't give him an offer either. No one in the Big Ten did. He went somewhere else. He went to division. Yeah, lower division team. Yeah, no one gave him an offer. Hey, senior?
No, I don't. He's a senior. Have a big Russian.
I think it's. I think he might. Go after more than one.
That's what he kept telling me. That's what he kept telling me. He had to go to a minute. Yeah.
You can't make this commitment to you.
Well, it's a. Yeah, and I kept. Really? Yeah, all birds or?
Yeah, anyone who keeps birds.
It's weird.
It's almost kind of people riding motorcycles. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I could be way off base on it.
Thank you.
Okay, like everybody is returned. Mr. Manager,
We have an updated motion, if you'd like me to introduce that briefly. The updated motion is approval of the, I'm trying to read the words real quick. It is discussion and action to approve the performance pay in the amount of $13,607.
thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Bjork makes the motion. Is there a second? Vice President Anthony seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, a brief overview of the program before you approve or not. So this performance pay program was put in place last year as part of the budget discussions. The scope of this applies only to non-union covered, non-part-time, so only full-time staff members, and it does not apply to the chief of police or the borough manager. There are 11 employees that this applies to, so the amount of $13,607 covers the performance award to 11 employees. And so with that, I'm happy to take any questions that would help.
And to be clear, this is something that, again, we pre-approved from a budget standpoint. And this is a incentive tool for the supervisors to give as a good performance.
That's right.
So, okay. So I think from a standpoint of giving recognition to our employees who are doing well, I think this is a great idea, something that, again, we had, the manager had come up with, and we approved the concept. So I think we're pleased to move forward. I recommend we move forward and approve this.
Thank you, Councilman O'Neill. Any other discussion or comments?
I like that the metrics are set up in advance, they know how to achieve levels, and it's a good program.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the staff that are getting the bonuses.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the hard work you did last year.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are moving the executive session to the end of the meeting, this second executive session on a matter of personnel to the end of the meeting because there is no action. And that being said, is there a citizen comment? Yes, sir.
So, Joe Metallo, 21 East Factory, Mechanicsburg. So, Long Alley didn't flood this past 30 some days, so I wanted to let you know, Mother Nature took care of not letting any water come out. So, but it is, I missed the leaf guy. I don't know why, I never see, couldn't you possibly send to the neighbors the list of when they're coming, so they had a chance, because not everybody looks on the Borough, website to see what's going on. You can, if we know when it's coming, they can move their cars. I don't know how you can do it, because sometimes they're running ahead of schedule or behind schedule. It all depends on the amount of leaves. So I know the situation. It's just hard to get everybody to move their car. I don't know what the problem, how to get it, but
Thank you. Anyone else says comment? Hearing none. We'll go with Borough staff. Other business, Sarah? Chief? Solicitor,
But Sarah had something.
or come back? So, go ahead. Chief.
You put the leaf collection on the bill tax that we sent out. So it wasn't on the bill.
Mr. Cassidy?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. We're adjourned to an executive session on a matter of person.
Council members.
Oh, sorry. Council members. Anyone have?
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect, or share my appreciation for our community. We had a lot of great events in October for families specifically. So, whether it be the fall harvest, I'm getting the name wrong, in park, or street of treats, et cetera, and the parade, like, it was just a really great, time to live in Mechanicsburg Borough with a family. So just wanted to plug that, say thank you.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. We're adjourned to an executive session on a matter of personnel.